Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. So today we have some Last of Us 2 news that I wasn't going to cover originally just because I was like, why not? And then basically the Magic Con shell told me that I should cover this video. So I decided to make this video. Basically I'm going to be talking about this article that is basically interview with Neil Druckmann, which I think is pretty cool. Have the head director, whatever, to interview the almighty powerfulness. I hope that wasn't insulting, but anyways, he did an interview with Eurogamer.net, and the title of this article is "There are games that are just for comfort food. This is not one of those." So I'm really excited. There were some key things that I want to talk about. They talked about the narrative, and they talked about some other stuff about how they wanted to make this challenging as for players. And what was interesting about this article was that the leaks were talked about. Now, for context, this is not going to be me mentioning the leaks, especially since I don't know what the fuck they are. So, basically, Neil is obviously very disappointed, and let's go dive into this. That way, you can see why he's disappointed. But yeah, I just want to say thank you guys also for. I just want to say thank you guys also for almost 1,800 subs. By the way, really means a lot for all the amount of support that we've gotten throughout the last couple months. So I just want to say a big thank you to you guys. But yeah. Basically, in the article, what I want to mention were basically the interview where they discussed about the leaks and how Neil feels about them. Obviously, we obviously know how Neil felt about them due to his last Instagram post. He posted about how people don't know shit because they haven't played the game, and basically that's the best way to describe it. But he actually talks more in detail in an article, so I'll read you what this said, and I'll mention some key points that I want to talk about. I hope it's okay just briefly to touch on the elephant in the room as well. I was wondering if the leaks had any impact on the studio, and then Neil, he said, "They suck. You've worked on something for so long, and then to have it come out in the way that it did was disappointing to myself and others of the team. But pretty quickly, we huddled together and wanted to discuss it. First of all, Last of Us 1 had stuff leaked, and Chef 4 had a truck where the games were stolen off the truck early, and people were posting the ending early. That didn't take away from anything at the end, because nothing compares to playing it. Nothing compares to being Ellie and feeling those moments, not just in cutscenes, but in gameplay, conversations, the music, and the emotional effect that has on you. And the story is constructed in such a way, it's not really about twists and turns. It's about slowly ratcheting the crank and feeling the tension with the choices and the characters. It sucks, but we know once people get their hands on it, they're going to feel what we felt, whether they've seen it or not. It's going to be uncomfortable for a while, the game's going to be out there, and I think you're going to get what you get out of it." So that's really interesting just to see that Neil talked about how the cutscenes, it's not basically what defines Ellie and the game, is that really the gameplay elements, because the gameplay, you can basically play Ellie however way you want, and it's pretty cool just to see that concept of how, in a way, you're playing as your own Ellie, which, of course, Ellie's still Ellie, but it's cool how in a quest for vengeance you get to play the way she wants and see how she decides to do this vengeance, even though you obviously have to kill some NPCs. But by the way the game looked, it looks like you have to kill all of them, so that's gonna be a really interesting concept to see, even though it probably won't be a big deal for the story wise, but it'll be important to the player, obviously playing as Ellie, which I find it really cool and interesting. And then the next thing talks about, yeah, it totally sucks, and it really reminds me well, because it felt like there was a toxicity around aspects of the game at the moment, and a minority that won't accept any depiction of diversity at all. I'm curious as to what your thoughts on the reaction to that, because it seems so contradictory to what the game itself is trying to say. And Neil talks about how there's a lot of feedback that came out. I would take as it, you don't know. Neil obviously said that he doesn't want to spoil the game, because him telling him what's right and what's wrong is basically spoiling the game. So obviously they can't really say anything. They just have to wait for the game to come out. And they talked about how we made a journey with Ellie, and Ellie, who she is. We're going to continue forward. She's now 19. How do we explore all the facets of what it's like to be 19? You think you're invincible, but you think you know what's right and wrong. You're sexually attracted to people you're attracted to. Those are all the things we want to explore this character. That's how we do honest storytelling. But yeah, I'm glad they're going through what they're going through, because I know that with Last of Us Part 2, when they showed the trailer of Dina and Ellie kissing, there was a lot of controversy about it, and people were really mad, even though Ellie was established that she was into girls in Last of Us Left Behind. So definitely, I think people were going a little bit overboard. Of course, I don't know what's going to be in the game. There might be some things people might not like, but we'll just have to see and wait and be the judge for ourselves when the game comes out. Something else I want to mention was this, and they said, yeah, 100%, I feel so bad that you guys have to weather the storm, but I really think that's going to be worth something for the people who are finally going to see themselves represented in a game like this. I think the people that matter are really going to appreciate, you know, from my perspective. And Neil said, yeah, a lot of misconception, and it's like, oh, we're somehow sacrificing the story to win diversity points, and that's not how we work. Everything is in service of the story. Getting better diversity gives us better story, it gives us fresh perspective on conflicts, and I hope once they play it, they realize. So literally what Neil said, we basically have to wait and play, and then we'll realize if the game is basically shit, or basically, oh yeah. So yeah, that's what I'm really excited about when we get The Last of Us Part 2, which is coming out in, I think 11 days. I find it really crazy that's 11 days. I wish time was going slower. Something else, which was the key point of this video, was that it's good news. It's not really, like, it doesn't really change anything, but I find good news, because I've seen people complaining. But yeah, they said, did you ever worry it was a consequence about making a game about hatred that it kind of begets more hatred and kind? I guess I think a lot of players are uncomfortable with having any kind of mirror held up to themselves in that respect. And then Neil says, oh, it's interesting that some of the reaction is a bit indicative, I don't know how you say that, of what the game is designed to do. I think it's a bit into spoiler territory, but we want to elect certain feelings from the player and have them reflect on those feelings for the second part. So for us, it's like, okay, we got the first part, now let's see if we can get the second part once the game is out, because, again, people just don't know. There's all these theories about what the ending is, but the ending is not out there. You don't actually know how it comes together. So that's what I found really interesting, that the ending is basically not leaked, which is so confusing because a lot of people say the ending's leaked, the full game was leaked, but I think there was a bit of a misconception with this, especially when the leaks came out, because there's legitimate leaks with cutscenes on the internet, while apparently there's other leaks that people mentioned that are apparently fake. So I think that's what drove the fan base and other people I know, my friends, a little bit angry with what Naughty Dog was trying to do with this game, when really they didn't do anything at all with this game, because apparently the leaks were fake. But my understanding, the leaks that have like the context of what everything happened is fake, while the cutscenes I believe are real, because I know there's cutscenes out there. But yeah, he talked about how he wanted to be challenging, and it's not one of those games where it's basically like comfort food. It's basically like, I don't want to say a horror game, but it just has challenges pretty much, and that's why if you play on hard, it'll be for sure a challenge. But yeah, I'm glad to hear that the ending is not leaked out onto the internet, at least from what we've heard. From what Neil said, he said the ending is not leaked at all, so I'm pretty sure we are a-okay. But yeah, I can't wait to see when what Last of Us Part 2 is going to be about, and the interesting concepts of it, because the game is, I believe, I'm going to assume the game, from what they said the game is around 30 hours, and I would assume if you were to, like, in a way speed it, maybe 25 to 30 hours, I would assume, is the correct term or length of the game. I would assume, at least. Uncharted 4 wasn't that long, I think. It was long, but it wasn't like super duper long. I think it was like 18 hours, if I'm correct. I'm not sure, don't quote me on that. I just know that it was one of the longest Naughty Dog games. And now Last of Us Part 2 will be the longest Naughty Dog game. But yeah, I hope Part 2 does well. We legitimately have to see. I'm not sucking up to them if that's what y'all think, but I just legitimately want to wait and just play the game and see if it's good. I think I'm most likely gonna have a good time. Unless somehow the story is really that bad, then maybe I could consider myself not liking it. But like I said, we legitimately have to wait, and I can actually form an opinion, because some of you are mad at me for not forming an opinion when clearly I have not played the game. So F you. I'm not joking, like F you. But yeah, anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Sorry if I was like a little bit like cranky I guess is the word, but if you guys did enjoy this video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. It would really mean a lot, and I'll see you guys later in the next video. So hope to see you guys in the next video, and I hope you guys have a great day, and peace.
We could have killed you. Maybe you should have.